Welcome back, Talk family, and thank you so much for joining me on another episode of Talk the Talk. My name is 𝐤𝐥𝐸𝐬 and I am your host, and joining me today is Shiksha Singh, and she is the sales manager at Kia The Glen. Shiksha is a vibrant, independent young woman, and she has been developing a successful career which has involved continual growth for her individuality or individually, as well as to positively contribute to and bring value to the success of the company as well as her co-workers. Her corporate approach is simple, assertive and persuading. She is people-oriented, and she finds great professional satisfaction in helping her friends and colleagues advance their careers. So Shiksha is an effective manager, negotiator, and an inventor. Her rapid thinking and decision-making abilities frequently result in questions being answered and problems being solved before they spiral out of control or become the source of complaints from dissatisfied consumers. Now Shiksha is also a nominee for the Motoring Woman of the Year Awards, and we're very, very proud to have her part of our movement. So without further ado, let's welcome Shiksha. And as always, this interview is proudly brought to you by Sariti Solutions, MFC, and 𝐬𝐻 by Nedbank. Hello Shiksha.
Hi Desh, how are you?
I absolutely love the hair.
Thank you so much, thank you.
Shiksha, I'm so happy to have you part of our movement, as I said, and I hope that you will use this platform with your vibrancy that I talked about earlier on to spread the word and to empower and pay it forward. And I think you're doing that in your current role as sales manager. So let's talk a little bit about your journey in the motoring trade.
Okay. Well, firstly, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. I'm so excited to be here. Okay, so my journey in the motor industry. So it started in 2018. Okay, I actually worked at the bank. I come from a banking and finance background, and I worked there for 11 years. And then I decided to resign so that I could I wanted change. So because I was doing finance, vehicle and asset finance in banking, I looked to the dealerships because I worked a lot with F&Is and sales executives. So I thought, I could go in and look at becoming an F&I. And that's initially what I went to do. So I sent out my CV to a couple of places, and then I got an interview, and it was at a Hyundai dealership initially. So I went through for the interview, and there were unfortunately no finance and insurance manager positions available at that time, and I was unemployed. And then they said to me, no, after interviewing me, the DP said to me, okay, but you know what, I think you could do well in sales. So I never sold a car in my life. I'm like, okay, you know what, let me try. So I agreed, and the next day I started.
Wow.
So my journey started in June of 2018, and I think I just got into it. I was learning from my colleagues, I was watching them. I had a really good sales manager at the time. He taught me a lot, I was under his wing, and he really helped me. I think I was motivated to make it a success. I am that person. If I do something, I need to make sure that I make a success of it. So I was optimistic about it. Initially I was like, oh, how hard can it be? Let me just try. I didn't know that it's actually, it's not as easy as what people think it is, or just sell a car. So I worked there for 6 months. And initially, before I went there, I went for an interview at Kia The Glen before I started at Hyundai. And at that time, there was no positions available. So 6 months later, the manager called me and he said to me, do you still want to come to Kia? You're still looking to move closer to home? And I was like, okay, you know what, let's do it. And I'm not the type of person that jumps around. Yeah. I've worked for the bank for 11 years and then just Hyundai. So I was like, okay, you know what, I'm gonna try, let's move. And that was the best decision I could have ever made. Going to Kia The Glen has been an absolute blessing for me. It has opened so many doors. I moved over as a new car sales executive in January of 2019, and I sold cars from January 2019 to I think it was February 2021. So I was a sales executive. I was doing well. I was growing. I was learning. I was having fun. You know, I'm a loud person, so I was always singing on the floor and motivating my colleagues and all of those wonderful things. I mean, there were bad times, there were tough times, and there were times where I wanted to quit.
Because you literally went through COVID as well.
You know?
Yeah.
So there was a lot of things, but I always spoke about it. You know, I never kept it to myself and thought, oh, let me die in silence. You know, I spoke about it, and I had people motivate me and tell me, you know what, don't give up, don't stop. And then there were team leader positions that Kia said to us, no, they want to appoint team leaders, they want to grow people within the business. And I had applied for that position and I got it. I was appointed as a team leader in March of 2021, and my manager at the time was then promoted to a dealer principal.
Wow.
So when he got promoted, I then stood in for him for that month.
Are we talking about Kumbulani? Yeah?
No, we're talking about, his name is Shiksha Singh.
Okay.
So he was promoted at that time to dealer principal, and I was working under a dealer principal called Mike Salt. Okay, what a wonderful person, yes. And he actually gave me an opportunity. You know, he said to me, okay, run the team for this month. And I was like, okay, I'm going to do this and I'm going to sell cars, which I did. And then at the end of that month, he said, we applied for the position, for the sales manager positions. And then he came to me and he said to me, you know, I'm going to give you the opportunity to take the management position. And I was like very, very grateful. I always wanted to be a manager. From my Standard Bank days when I was actually a team leader when I left there. And I took the opportunity and I ran with it. And every single day I do my best.
Well done. Well
Thank
done,
you so
Shiksha. So, Shiksha, I know when you got nominated for the awards, you were so excited. Wow, how do you feel about our platform?
So when KB told me about it, well, I have seen it prior to this. So I've checked on Facebook and I've checked on YouTube. And I've seen, like, previously a few of my colleagues that had been nominated for it. So I knew about it, and then my dealer principal, KB, said to me that he's going to come through for an interview, and he always tries to push these motivations for women and women empowerment. He's all about that, you know. And he said to me, Shiksha, you know, I'm going there and I'm going to speak about you, you know, because I feel as though you are somebody who deserves to be put up there because of how you work and what you do and all of these things. So for me, I think you guys are doing a fabulous, fabulous job with this. I mean, it's so important for women to be recognized, especially in the motor industry, you know, that once used to be perceived as, you know, a male-dominating industry. It's no longer like that.
Absolutely.
So I was very excited, yes I was. When he told me about this, I was like, I was excited, and I thanked him because he's really looking out for us, you know.
Yes. Now it's your duty to ensure that you get to the finals, okay?
I'll do my best.
So, Shiksha, what do you love about representing the Kia brand? And the reason I'm laughing is because I have a lot of Kia people here, and the answer is always movement that inspires, which is true. I work very closely with Kia South Africa on numerous of my initiatives, especially women empowerment, GBV, rape, and you know, those initiatives. But they are definitely a movement that inspires. But what do you love representing? What stands out for you in terms of representing Kia?
So for me, I love how dynamic the brand is, okay? So from the time I started there till now, it's been changing, it's been evolving, I should say that.
Yeah.
It keeps on getting better, okay? I do believe that when you work, especially in sales or for a brand, in order for you to successfully sell that brand, you have to believe in it. Yeah. And I definitely believe in my brand. So my sister has a problem with me because she wants to buy a car and I keep on selling her different models, and she's like, wow. She's like, just stop, because she's like, no, I want a BMW, and I'm like, no, but you can have this and you can do this. It's so dynamic that we've managed to touch all types of people in South Africa. So whether you just leaving school,
right,
whether you're starting up, whether you are a professional, whether you're an elderly person, if you have a family, we are catering to all types of people. You know,
there's something for everyone.
It really is, and it really is movement that inspires. I mean, our vehicles have all the bells and whistles.
I just knew you were gonna say that.
It's got performance. There's performance. It's value for money. JD Powers has rated us in terms of reliability at #1, you know. So all of these things, I'm really proud of the brand that I work for, you know. And when people say to me, oh, you know, what do you think about working for like a Mercedes-Benz or a Land Rover Jaguar? I love all, I don't think any brand is bad, but I love my brand.
Absolutely. Now, if I gave you more time to continue, you'd take all of my 15 minutes.
I'd probably be selling, you know, doing my best to convince you why you should own a Kia.
Tell me, Shiksha, what is your management style like?
Okay, I think I am assertive. I am empowering. I'm assertive, but I don't have a Hitler style leadership.
Okay.
I'm gonna say that because I have more of at the bank when we used to do this training, we used to call it a B style leadership. So yes, I have to be hard and I have to keep people in line because I want them to grow. But at the same time, I'm very open-minded. So I always listen to their ideas, we make decisions together, we speak. I have different types of relationships with each and every single one of my team members because I cannot treat them all the same. I understand them individually, I deal with them individually. So it's very important for me to motivate them every single day because this is an everyday job. You know, you can't just sit back and think that it's going to happen. If somebody, you know the people you work with. If somebody's down or somebody's having a problem, you address it, you motivate them, you help them. I am very helpful. You know, I always help my team. Sometimes I get way too involved. You know, I'll help them with like invoicing of deals, phoning of customers, but it's just that I'm very fast-paced.
Right.
You know, so I have to get things done now. And I'm results-driven, very, very driven by results and very competitive. So I often instill that in my team, like, you know, this is sales, so you have to be the best. As much as you're going to help each other, which you are, you always have to strive to win. So I think that's what I adapt.
You touched on something very important, that they are all individuals and they have different sets of issues and problems. How important do you think a healthy mental state of mind is in the workplace?
I think it's the most critical thing, especially in the job that we do. I always tell them that it works with your mind. You know, this position that you're in works with how strong your mind is. Because the minute you panic, the minute you stress, your customers see it, you know. The minute you're not focused, you don't sell cars, you don't close deals. So you have to have a healthy mental state of mind, especially even for me. Because I found that a lot of the times I would, you know, shy away from that and just focus and work under pressure. But you know, you have to actually focus on mental health. It's very important.
And you know, there's a saying, when you're tired, don't give up, rest. I literally just went through that phase and it's so important to do that. But having said that, Shiksha, how do you guide your team when you recognize or identify that there's a problem?
So what I do is I would generally, we always have meetings, you know, and there's a couple of things that we discuss generally, and then where I see that the individual is struggling, I would usually call them or I would call them one-on-one, and I'd say, come chat to me, and then we just start like having a normal random conversation. And I know some people say, you know, don't get too involved in people's personal lives at work and stuff like that, but in order to understand what that person's going through, you have to know about what's going on in their personal life. To an extent, you know. So I will chat to them and then they'll tell me. People find it easy to talk to me. You know, they can just come, my team or other teams, they'll just come to me and chat to me and Shik, I'm going through this, or you know, what can I do here, whatever, and we chat. And I always try and, I mean, I'm not always right, but I always try my best to give them positive advice, you know, to keep them motivated. To always explain to them that a positive mind is the most important thing you need to come to work with, you know.
Absolutely.
You do your best, you give your best, you pray, and then that's half your work done already.
Well, thanks for that advice, because there's many sales managers that often face these challenges in terms of their teams, and we can only help each other. There's no one set way of doing this. What is the most, and I'm sure as a woman of color and also being female, you have faced some discrimination in terms of, I don't know, because you started in 2018.
Yes.
Some of us has been here forever, ancient, but and so we have faced a lot of discrimination, and that's obviously there's transformation taking place.
Yes.
There's changing, we evolving as well as females, so we don't face that much. But have you faced a discriminatory situation where you've responded to it in a very unique or different way, which can help our viewers as well?
So I haven't. A lot of the times when we interview people for sales roles in my team, a lot of males, my previous DP, Mike Salt, would always ask this question: how would you feel working? How would you feel working under a young Indian female manager? You know, and a lot of the times the answers wouldn't be bad, because remember, sometimes in an interview they're not really gonna say anything bad because people want a job. But I haven't. I've been blessed in the sense that I have not really gone through it, but I think it's because my personality is so strong. Right. You know, I have a very strong personality, and if I could give any advice to ladies out there, it's, you know, when you come into a role in the motor industry, do everything that a male would do. Like, for example, when you're putting number plates on a car, pop rivet it yourself. You know, don't wait for someone, oh my nails, I can't do it. Or, you know, run upstairs and up and down to the roof 10 times to fetch cars, or get keys, move cars, you know. Time, because we always work late, you know, because that's the commitment that we put in there. There's customers that will take cars after 5 and stuff, you there. So you gotta, I understand that women have kids and husbands and families, but you have to put in the same amount of effort, and that way, you know, no one can come back and say to you, oh, because you're a girl, you treated this way, or because, you know, you're a female, you don't have to do this. No, you gotta.
No, it definitely isn't a clock watcher's job.
Yeah, no, but it's fine.
We have to work overtime, and many of the purchasers are working class people, and they can only take delivery of their vehicle after 5. So you've got to do that. So I often say,
and we don't mind, eh?
There we go.
We really don't mind.
And the thing is, I always say this: we need to understand that the aim of education is knowledge. You know, and it's not about facts or about values, it's about knowledge. So stop feeling entitled. When you get into the trade, understand what's required of you, and be the type of person that's going to, if you want to be treated equally, then you're going to have to act that way.
100%.
Irrespective of if you're a male or you're a female.
That is correct.
You need to understand that there's going to be sacrifices.
Yes, of course.
I've been in the trade now for almost 15 years, and trust me, I had to many a times take myself out of the female mindset and say, listen, I've got to travel, and I still do it. I'm traveling all the time, and it's great that I have a good support structure. So get that in place before you accept a position
that is true.
In the motoring trade. Any words of advice for a young woman? I think I've said some of it right now, but any advice, any words of advice for some women or any woman that want to join our trade?
I would say to you, don't be afraid. Don't hold back. Try it, because like I said, what our perceptions were of the motor industry previously is no longer what it is. There's equal opportunities for male and females. There is a lot of growth, and there's a lot of opportunities for us, you know. So come and try and do your best. Always just give your best, always be positive, and always stay motivated, because that's how you win. You know, that's how you succeed in the motor industry as a young female.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Shiksha, for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome, and thank you for inviting us to do the workshop and to empower more people, and for accepting your nomination and recognizing that this is a movement. It's 100%. Not a competition.
Yes.
It is about empowering women and educating women, not just in our trade but beyond. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so viewers, We would like to thank you for your continued support and encourage you to like and share our content. Our non-profit companies, the Motoring Woman of the Year Awards, powered by MFC and 𝐬𝐿 by Nedbank, and the 𝐿 Studios, sponsored by Sariti Solutions and 𝐬𝐿 by Nedbank, are platforms aimed at empowering, uplifting and celebrating the women of motoring South Africa. We are not just telling stories, we are changing lives. If you are searching for a new or pre-owned vehicle, please visit www.auto.𝐬𝐿.africa. We have a wide range of vehicles on sale for you to choose from, and we only advertise on behalf of reliable and trustworthy MFC accredited dealerships. This car listing portal is user-friendly, and you can also find vehicle reviews, car maintenance tips and automotive advice, all courtesy of 𝐿 Studios. Like Shiksha said, minds are like parachutes, only function when they are open. Have an open mind if you want to succeed, if you want to grow, if you want to just be successful in terms of what you're doing in the motoring trade, whether you're in a sales executive position or sales manager position. You have to apply the same amount of effort, and like I always say, effort is between you and you only. Ladies, it is so important to focus on your own journey and not compare yourself to others. Embrace your unique qualities and work on improving yourself for your own personal growth and fulfillment. Remember that we are all on our own path and we have our own unique challenges to overcome. Be kind to yourself and celebrate your victories, no matter how small. Strive for progress, not perfection, and continue to push yourself to reach your fullest potential. Life is not about being better than someone else. It's about allowing yourself to grow to your fullest potential. And with that, I would like to remind you that the question should never be, who's going to let me? It should always be, who's going to stop me?